cruise.
Yeah, the two staterooms, the Vincy's.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Vin and
After I
Serena.
after I booked held the two staterooms, it's like I looked at him like I realized both lead guests have the exact same names. So then I was like, oh no, which staterooms what? And then she followed up after I had held them with middle
Yeah.
names and stuff. I was like, oh, so that helped a lot. I was like,
Oh boy.
I didn't realize it when I was putting it in, and then I got the confirmations. I'm like, wait, what? Wait,
Yeah.
the four? Which one's the two? Yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Bermuda cruise, that'd be super cool.
Yeah, they reached out about it. I'm hoping my wife will go on a cruise with me soon.
Oh my
She
god,
conquered the whole fear of flying, and now she's got to work on a
Oh
cruise
yeah,
ship.
yeah. See, I
I
wouldn't
try
fly.
to explain that it's not what you think it is.
Oh my
It's
god,
like a
no.
floating city. There's
I
so
was
much to
just gonna
do.
say it's a floating city. It's on.
Yeah.
You don't even know you're at sea.
No.
It's crazy.
You have
It's like going down a shopping mall in the district where there's stores. It's the theater, the
I
restaurants.
think she would love it once she gets on. It's the anxiety of getting there and getting her on the boat.
I
So
get you, man. Because like everybody
it's
told me
okay.
for a decade or 20 years, like flying's the safest form of travel. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not getting on that thing. So you can
Yeah,
keep saying it. But now that I do it, I'm like, shoot, 15-hour drive to Florida, or I'm there in 2 hours.
it's a
What?
lot nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. Not happening. All right. So let's see here. Hit that. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Getting ready to talk with Chris about we're going to do a couple trips here. We're just going to talk some Disney here for Monday and have some fun. What number is this? 2141. All right. We got that there. Got that there. All right. Let's do this. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2141 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you're having a great start to the week and happy back to school for the folks here in our school district here in St. Charles, Missouri. It is back to school day for Mallory and all the Vikings at Francis Howell High School. So Pam's students are coming back today as well in the Ferguson-Florissant School District where I used to teach. So here in the greater St. Louis area, it's definitely back to school. And it's almost the end of the first quarter down in the southeastern United States and up in the northeast, I guess. You're halfway through summer. So enjoy the pool time. Keep going. You guys will go back shortly. Now we're having a good time. But hopefully you're having a great start to your week. And wherever the show finds you, hope you have a smile on your face and you have a lot of love in your heart. But today we're going to have a good time talking Disney. That's what we do here on Mondays. And we have a frequent friend of the show joining us, listener Chris. And I believe he's right outside Citi Field, if I had to judge. I'm not sure by the Mets hat. Chris, thanks for joining us, and go Mets. What's going on?
Thanks for having me, Mike. Happy to be back on. Yeah, I'm a little bit further from Citi Field than you're envisioning, but hopefully we can pull out a win tonight. I'll be a lot happier.
That's right. In podcasting, it's all imaginary, right? I mean, it's a theater of the mind.
I forgot the backdrop. I should have worked on that.
You got Simba there, So I mean, right behind you, the Simba popcorn bucket. So hey, your studio looks better than mine. I like it. Very nice. All right, so we're gonna hop in here and talk about a couple of trips here shortly. But I've been asking everybody where you're from, like what your little corner of the world is known for. Now, I don't know if you're from like New York City proper, like where I watch Blue Bloods, like you're from where the tall buildings are from, or if you're from like a suburban, I don't know if there's even suburban areas in where you're from, but if you're from like a small pocket of some like distinctive little thing that your area is known for, that like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was made there. Somebody was born there. Is there something like that from where you're from?
Yeah, 100%. I'm from a town in the Jersey Shore, but contrary to popular belief, it is not like what you see on TV from the Jersey Shore.
I've never seen that show. So see,
okay, there you go. So you're not biased.
I've seen a couple commercials on Pluto TV, and I'm like, I'm not watching that.
Yeah, people here in New Jersey and envision that. And they also envision the opening of Sopranos, and I promise you, it is neither of which. That is two very small areas of it. But yeah, for us, we're known for beautiful beaches. There's plenty of places to go hiking and all that good stuff, and really good food. You got bagels, pizza, whatever Italian specialty you can think of. You can find it all throughout. So I would say that's what we are known for.
Sounds good to me, but is it true though in Jersey you cannot pump your own gas? Is that you
It's
can't?
true.
That
It's
is
true.
correct. I've heard that, and I mean, for
Yeah.
somebody that's from Missouri, I mean, like I was pumping gas in the cars like when I was 8. You know, my dad would be like, "Get out and pump the gas, man. It's too cold." Like
Yeah.
I was pumping it into the F-150. That is the craziest thing ever. I guess it's just like a service industry thing, so that there's more
Yeah,
possibly.
it's included in the taxing and everything, so they kind of, they can pay an extra person, and I guess it works from that standpoint. But for me, when I go on road trips, I enjoy pumping my own gas. I actually prefer it. You don't have to wait on somebody, to be honest with you.
Exactly. I mean, it's that's why I love doing this podcast though, because I live in this pocket right in the dead center of the country. And I just love learning about our country. You know, I don't get to go all these places. I've been to Jersey just for one day because my dad's buddy pitched for the Phillies. And I believe his house when he pitched for the Phillies was in New Jersey and he drove to
Yeah,
Philly,
that makes
I
sense.
think. And
Yeah, it's very close.
yeah,
The Philly Stadium is right across the border, so
yeah, okay, so
it
that's
makes
probably what
sense.
it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, so I think that was the only time I was there. But I mean, I learn all these things through our listeners. This is so cool to me because it's so different. I mean, like we have a QT across. If I mean, we haven't had anybody pump gas here, and I mean, since I was like 6 at the Sinclair. You know,
Yeah.
like it was the full service aisle and the sell. There's none of that anymore. Anyway,
Yeah.
so give me a little. I think we've probably talked about this before, but a little bit on your Disney fandom because you are all in. But let me just ask this kind of in general. Like, what has you still excited about Disney that you like going to the Disney parks? Like, what's the good stuff with Disney right now?
I think it's just the fact that there's always something that you miss on a trip, right? So, we used to go and we used to have to run to every park because we were only there for 4 days, and that was only happening once every couple of years. Now, you know, as you know, recently we bought into Disney Vacation Club. We have annual passes, so now it's like more of, it doesn't even matter if we get on rides or anything. We're walking around the parks and seeing stuff that we normally wouldn't stop and take a look at. We're trying, food, that we haven't tried every time. So there's always new restaurants and new, meals that are coming out. So that's definitely been a huge focus of us. And then the other piece, I'll talk through a little bit, but we're trying to hit all the different resorts and check those out. And, some we'll pop in, during the day and check them out, but we're also trying to stay at all of them and check them all out because they're constantly changing too. There's always renovations and different things happening. So I think right now it's super exciting, and they just had the earnings call and everything, and they're supposed to invest a significant amount more into the parks over the coming year. So that's exciting. Epcot, we still don't know what that dirt pit's going to look like. That'll be nice to see
Exactly.
at some point. So it's constantly evolving, and it's never a finished product. So there's always something to kind of go down and check out.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to talk about 2 trips. Do you want to start with the honeymoon trip, or do you want to start with your solo?
Yeah,
Kind of.
I'll start with the honeymoon trip just because it'll be quick. I just want to talk through the hotels because I thought I had an idea of what my favorite one would be coming, into it. But that changed, as we kind of got into the trip. So our honeymoon, we actually took 2 full weeks and not spending the whole thing at Disney. We actually went to Exuma on the first part of it.
Mhm.
But that second week, the Monday we got back to Miami, we did a rental car and we just drove up to Orlando. I think we stayed at like the Wyndham in Disney Springs just for the night, and then checked out, and went on to the Poly. So that's where we were staying for 2 nights. And this was like a hodgepodge because looking at DVC points, we just went wherever the points were available. And, unfortunately for us, it was popping to a different hotel every day. But, it gave us, room to experience hotels we haven't been to. The trip we took in January, we stayed at Old Key West the entire time. So this time, Tuesday and Wednesday, we stayed at the Poly, which was good. It was a studio room. Thursday, we moved over to Saratoga Springs. We had a preferred 1 bedroom, and that room like blew us away. It was beautiful.
Everybody raves about that 1 bedroom in Saratoga,
It's
especially the remodeled rooms. They're getting
Yeah,
huge, like kudos. Everybody loves those things.
it was amazing. And then I think my thoughts are evolving with that because you think you want to be around the park the whole time, like we'd want to be in the Magic Kingdom area, or you want to be in the Epcot area. And the Epcot area, I agree with. I think the Magic Kingdom area, I've always had my eyes on that. We stayed at the Poly, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as, we go to Saratoga Springs, and my wife likes to go shopping, and then plus there's all the good restaurants. It was so convenient to just walk out of your door and walk around and be in Disney Springs. I think that was a big advantage for this one. But the rooms just put it way over the top. So definitely looking forward to staying there again. Animal Kingdom Lodge had high hopes going in. It was a Savannah room, but it wasn't one of the newly remodeled rooms. It was still that old, carpet. The bathroom seemed like it was like I was trapped in some motel somewhere. It was just not the best, but I spent most of the time on the balcony, and then we went to the park, so it really didn't bother me that much. But it was just surprising. But once it's up to date with the rest of the rooms, I would definitely stay there again. Only thing is, I'd like to stay in Jumbo House, because that walk back and forth, and it just wasn't for me.
And they also have that like little shuttle van, but it's
but you gotta wait around. I don't know.
Waiting around. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to have to do that.
Yeah. But we were only there the one night. And then we were actually supposed to leave the following day, which was Saturday. But my wife, being my wife, she talked me into staying one more night.
That's a
She
good
was
wife,
able to find, I couldn't find anything when I logged on to DVC to find a room for the night. So I was like, you know what, it's not meant to be. Let's go. And she jumped on the phone, was on the phone with somebody, and they was like, just keep refreshing. You might find something. And 20 minutes later, she got a room at Boardwalk. So it was cool. That was another surprising one for me. I've been to the Boardwalk before. It's beautiful and everything. I don't know. I just didn't expect it. And it wasn't like we got some Boardwalk view room. We got the one, I think it was Garden View, but it was right outside the pool. She sat out on the balcony like the whole time. It was downpouring this whole day. So I was walking through Epcot and just trying to milk every last second.
Right.
Even though it was pouring, I changed shoes twice. It just
like,
poured all day.
Exactly. Like the heavy stuff isn't coming here for another 20 minutes, and you're like getting struck by lightning. I've been there. Yeah, it's the last day. You don't care.
Yeah. So it was good. We popped around. We had a lot of good food on this trip. But like I said the last time, it was really, we weren't go the whole time. We were relaxing a little bit. We spent time at the pools. And we popped in the parks and kind of hit some good rides, and that was really it. The interesting part about this one, because we did have to pop over constantly from room to room to room, we used Bell Services the entire time, and they were amazing. And I mean, as long as you have like an extra bag and bring whatever is absolute necessity to you with the parks to you, we would just ring them up in the morning before we were going to the parks. They'd come pick everything up from us, tag it, and then we'd go to the park. And then by the time we got back from the parks, you just give them a quick call, and they'd come right up to our room, drop it off. And when we had the call to get the bags, they were up within 5 minutes every time. So we threw them a few bucks every time they did it, because it was, at that point, we had been on a 2-week vacation. We had a lot of bags.
I can imagine. You guys, yes, probably. I mean, 2 weeks worth of stuff, like 5 different times. Like, here they come.
Yes. 2 weeks worth of stuff coming into it, and then we were buying and accumulating stuff on the way. Plus, I did. I've been doing Amazon Fresh now, so I had like a case of water and snacks that we bought that I just had to put in bags and tie it up.
Yeah.
So it went from like 3 or 4 bags up to like 7 or 8 by the time we were leaving. So I was very gracious. They were very good about that. So it worked really well. If you again, we weren't waiting that much at all. By the time we got back from a park in the afternoon, everything was there at the building. We just had to call down and have them, come up to our room. So
I'm glad you really good. I'm glad you addressed that, because Swansea Searcher here was asking. It sounds like he or she was asking, definitely about that transition and about the luggage getting around. Now, let me ask you this question here, because I mean, Pam does these split stays, usually 3 resorts, 4 resorts, and you did 5. Which that's impressive. But it's also a great opportunity, because you got all these different experiences, and now you have a taste, you
Yeah.
know, next time when you're looking to book, okay, well, I might not have been thinking I would like Saratoga as much as I did, when I was over there. And, I learned a little bit about Animal Kingdom Lodge, like you said. But okay, let me ask you about the go bag that you had. Like you mentioned that day bag that you want to keep your stuff in to have while the rest of your stuff is in Bell Services. Did
Yeah.
you find anything that was kind of by the second or third or fourth hotel change that you realized I need to make sure this is in that bag that maybe somebody that's doing a split might not realize? Because I think that's a big key. Like oh man, I wish I'd have put that in my bag, and all of a sudden Bell Services has it and you can't get to it.
Bathing suit,
Yeah.
because this didn't happen on this time, but when we went to Old Key West, I forget for what our room wasn't ready, but we had checked our bags and we went to the park, and then by the time we got back, we couldn't access our bag, and we wanted a swimsuit out of it. So definitely a bathing suit, and we just pack whatever we're bringing to the parks for that day. So a snack and a couple waters, that kind of thing. If you have the portable batteries, 100%.
Yep.
Bring a portable battery, or your charger, so you have that while you're waiting for your room or whatever when you get back to the resort. But yeah, that's really it.
Let me ask you though, those five, Disney calls you right now and says we're going to give you a week at one of those five. I mean, does the Polynesian take the cake still? Because it's Poly, or I mean, has Saratoga got that much of a pull? They're giving you, it has to be one of the rooms you stayed in though. So at the Poly,
Yeah,
that one bedroom preferred over at Saratoga. Which one you picking of the five?
I would say Saratoga or Boardwalk, to be honest with you. Poly's great. I feel like if I had kids with me and everything, that would have been amazing. I mean, the pool was like mobbed the one time we went. It was just like it was a little overwhelming. We had a studio room there, and uh, it's just an odd setup to me. I guess if you pack that room, with a family of 4 or 5, it makes sense because you got the 2 bathrooms. But when they renovated, there's probably opportunity to just combine that. But I'm sure there's families that go there, and that's a huge advantage to have that extra bathroom. But again, you put people in there, and you got the pull down bed. It's still tight,
Yep.
So
Yep. Totally.
but I'm sure there's people that do it, and it definitely works. But yeah.
So the other question, real quick, and then we'll move on to your solo trip. The Swansea searcher has another question. So all your because a lot of times that next room you're going to in a split, you got to check out of your first room, but you're checking out, you're going to a theme park. But it sounds like you guys went to theme parks each day, so you weren't running into that problem with my room wasn't ready, because maybe you're staying at the theme park till 4, 5, 6 o'clock, and by then your room's definitely going to be ready. I mean, is that kind of how you pampered that? I mean, you never had to worry about it because you were never there, like waiting, waiting at noon for my room to be ready.
I don't recall on this. I don't think we had any late rooms. I'll tell you, in the past, that's happened quite a bit with us, and we were like pleasantly surprised that every time we were getting the tech. Actually, so there's one time it wasn't, and it was our fault. I thought I had checked in online. I didn't, and I didn't realize until I was, it was like 3:30, and I was like, we haven't gotten our room. Like, it's kind of weird. Every other day we were getting them around like 11, 12. Like, it was pretty early. And I didn't get that text, and I was wondering why. And then we found out I just never hit the check-in. So once I hit the check-in button, they assigned us a room right away. So it was pretty good. In the past, Old Key West, when we were checking in, it took a while. It took like till 4:30, and the GM was there, like, apologizing to us and everything. It really wasn't that big of a deal. We were hanging out at the pool, but we did check a couple of times to see what was going on. But this time, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean that's happened to me too. Like I've sat at Pop Century sometimes till 5 o'clock waiting for my room to get ready, and it's one of those things like I wish I'd just gone to a theme park, but it's like, oh, but you're rolling the dice, right? Like especially a race weekend, you go to the expo, you're like, I'm just gonna come back here, drop off my bag. My room will definitely be ready. And then whenever you say that, you're just done.
That's the thing. Like, we've had so many times where we try and wait it out, and then we're like, no, let's just go to a park, and then we go and jump on the bus, and then that second we get the
exactly, because it almost forces it. It's like the universe speaks to you. It's like sometimes we say stuff here on the show, like we don't know when this is going to happen, and then by the time the show comes out, it's already done. So we try to use that for good, for everybody, for the good of the cause. For us, it's weird. Okay, so You went down solo though recently, just back in May. So how did that trip come about? What was that all about?
So I told you we're DVC members, and Guardians of the Galaxy was announced the previews. So I have an annual pass too. So I was watching the emails for that to come out. Annual pass I entered, and I was like way back in the queue. But DVC I was lucky enough to score one. I didn't even know that I would end up doing it. My wife's not a big ride fan of riding. She's also had work during that period. I had some days available, so I was able to take it off. It was a Wednesday um, that I was able to get. Um, but I kind of just sat there and thought about it. I was like, you know what? Why not? I can fly down on Spirit. It was super cheap. And, I went and found a bag on Amazon that, was, set to their size requirements,
Right.
and just took that bag, on my back. And that was it. I had a pair of shoes and a couple pairs of shorts, a couple of shirts, and that's it. My wife would never go anywhere without checking a bag, even if it was only for that day and a half trip,
Same,
so
same. We have the trunk.
yeah, yeah. So it just and that was the other thing. I had points available, right? So the flight ended up being free, and I didn't check anything. And all I needed was a hotel room. I found the Hilton Garden Inn in Disney Springs. Super cheap rate. We've stayed there twice now when we stayed off site. I just figured, why not? That's my only expense plus food. It's why not? It's not going to happen again, so
Right,
why
right.
not give it a
But
shot?
Scott and I had this conversation about this when those previews were going on because he's DVC, he's an AP. I got to go down for the media thing, but with Pam. But the thing is, like, it's a genius idea for Disney because now you were in a great circumstance where you had DVC, so you're using points, but there were I mean, I talked to a lot of people that went down and not just didn't go just for the day. They went down for the preview, but they went and stayed 3 nights at at French Quarter. They went and stayed 3 nights at Yacht Club. Like, yeah, and I understand it's exciting to be one of the very first on a new attraction, which I mean, I was pumped too. You were excited. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
neat thing. It's like you said, it's a historic kind of thing. But I mean, it's not just that you're previewing it. I mean, Disney's using this as a sales
Oh,
tool. I mean, they're
100%.
not saying that, but it is totally putting people in rooms, and we're all just you know what it does? It empowers us because we're like, but I got invited, man. Like it's
Yeah.
like, it's like
Exclusive.
I kind of have to go, right? I mean, I was
Yeah.
selected. It's a weird kind of mindset thing, but it's genius.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the amount of money I spent in those 2 days, yeah, because I was snacking on food the whole day in every park. It was,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah, it
Yeah.
it it paid off for them. It's
Oh, yeah,
definitely a
'cause
good strategy.
I was down for a media event, and I mean, they feed us and stuff, but man, I was over in Mexico buying margaritas, having
There you go.
empanadas. Like I helped the Disney economy myself too the whole time I was there. Trust
Yeah,
me. All
yeah.
right, so tell us about it. You fly down on Spirit. So how's it kind of unfold?
So flew down on Spirit Tuesday night. So I worked, and then I actually was able to get a flight that night. The flight was fine. Got into MCO, and that was a whole nother story. Very, very crowded. I told you I didn't have any bags to worry about getting. So I ran right out to go get an Uber. Was able to score an Uber pretty fast, but the traffic was insane. I mean, they had maybe there's 4 lanes there, so 3 out were just a parking lot. So there was only the 1 lane going by, and because all these people were parked in the 3 lanes, if you were in that left lane and you wanted to get over, they would just stop and try and squeeze themselves in. There was nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So a cop had basically ended up coming down and kind of moving him out. But my Uber, who was zero point 0.4 miles away, didn't get to me for like I want to say it was 35 minutes. It was
Oh,
something absurd because the cop started, all the way down at one end and worked his way down and finally cleared everybody out. But it just took forever. So that wasn't too fun because I was getting in a little late as it was. But, whatever. I made it to the hotel. I checked in that night. I didn't have a park reservation that night. Good thing I didn't make one because I wouldn't have made it on
right.
time anywhere.
And that takes away the
Um,
stress by not having it. Otherwise, you're just
yeah,
there. Yeah.
yeah, so, got there, and then I put in an Amazon Fresh order for the next morning. So I scooped that up once I woke up, and it was just Gatorade and water for the 2 days I was there. So filled up my bag, and then off the parks I went. So Wednesday, the second day I was there, was the day I had the preview, but it wasn't until I believe 11:30, something like that. So I made a park reservation for Hollywood Studios, and this is the one I think I talked to you on a listener question show, but I was like, oh, what should I do food wise, and basically my plan was I've never done 4 parks one day, why not? By myself I can go for it. So I decided to do it. So started at Hollywood Studios. Um, because I was staying off site, I wasn't able to go in. I had to wait after the early entry. So once they let that go, I kind of, I was in the second wave of people. But I went straight to Rock and Roller Coaster, went on the single rider line, walked right on. So that was
Rider
great.
line is the best.
There was a long line for everybody else, and
Yeah.
I was able to cruise right through. So that was cool. Definitely enjoyed that. Obviously, I made a lightning lane for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and then in the meantime, I went to go get breakfast. So I went over to get a Ronto wrap. Got the
I was gonna
Ronto
say,
breakfast wrap. I'm
there's
hooked
not
on
a
that.
whole lot of options for breakfast at the studios.
Yeah,
That's what breakfast Ronto wrap's always my go-to. Yeah, same.
yeah. I thought about going to Toy Story Land, but that Ronto wrap's just really good. So
Yeah, it is. It's
stuck with
awesome.
that. So ate that, and then I still had time to kill. So I went into the Walt Disney Showcase, the little museum part. Just walked around, cooled off, really stayed out of the sun because it was super hot that day. And then my Mickey and Minnie's lightning lane was ready to go, so I popped over in that, did it, and then I had an Oga's Cantina reservation. Um, it was like 10:30, so it was kind of cutting it close to that 11:30 window. Plus, we had a little family emergency pop up in the midst of all this. My wife was home with our 2 pups, and the one pup was sick. Got
Yeah.
into something in the backyard, so she was panicking. So I just cut my losses and got out of there and FaceTimed her, and made sure he got to the vet and got what he needed. And so it was stressful, but I was still able to get over to Epcot to get on my preview. So all in
The,
all, in
the
the end, it came out good.
the dog might have kept you out of Oga's, which would have pushed you behind the schedule.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, who
Big
knows how off course I could have gotten in Oga's by myself. So
exactly. I mean, one fuzzy tauntaun and you missed Cosmic Rewind.
yeah, wouldn't be
That's all
wouldn't
that
be a good trade off.
exactly. No, okay. So
Yeah,
now how'd you get over to Epcot? Did you just walk or did you take a
Skyliner.
okay, Skyline?
Yeah, I can't pass up a trip on the
Yeah,
Skyliner.
I'm
So
with you. I'm with you.
yeah. So I did that. We popped over. You do the check-in before you even get in, obviously, because you can't park hop at that point yet because it was before 2. But because I had the ticket, they check me in, and then you have to check in again once you get up to the ride. So went in, went straight to Gardens of the Galaxy. They had a person with the sign all the way back, and then it was just the switchbacks all the way through. I was kind of surprised to see that, just because
Yeah.
this was an exclusive event,
I
right?
I saw those lines too, and I'm like, that is not
uh,
really cool because everybody's thinking, it's a preview. Like, I'm gonna
yeah,
walk right onto this sucker, and then it looked like the 4th of July.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
It
nuts.
it was it was a lot. The line moved decently. The problem was, I told you, it was super hot that day. I was wearing a black Gardens of the Galaxy shirt, so I was just roasting. I was a sweaty mess by the time we got into the air conditioning. And then you're seeing some of the show elements and stuff. That was really cool to see. The ride was amazing. I had a smile on my face the whole time I was going through that. Woman next to me, I thought she was gonna have a heart attack. She uh, had to be. I think she was in her 80s. No, upper 70s. Whatever it was, it was still
Are you kidding me?
it was still pushing it. And with that ride, I was even like, what the hell did I just go through? I could,
Exactly. I know, me
so
too.
she just looked over at me and was like, "You enjoyed that?" She was like she was not into it. She had a couple up in front of her that she was friends with, that she came with. They loved it. her husband sat this one out. She goes, he would have had a heart attack. He wouldn't have made it off that ranch. So um, it was very funny because I don't really typically get too queasy on rides, and I even felt a little bit off kilter, after that. So I can only imagine,
Oh god, yeah.
for
If
that
I
age, I will not be doing that.
Oh, no. I think
Yeah,
I may do it one more time in my lifetime. I don't know. I'll
yeah,
probably do it once more, but man, I'm telling you, if that thing
it's
would've
a
gone
lot.
50 more seconds, I'd have been toast. I would have been
Yeah,
so when that thing
yeah.
when I came around that corner and saw that we were back in the station, I was like, loved it. I was like you though.
Oh,
The
yeah.
whole time I was smiling and like, "This is awesome." But
Yes.
at the same time, like, "This is awesome," but I'm like this close to being sick at the same time. It's so weird. It's like taking
Well,
me to the edge.
I also found it odd that so you go walking off the ride, and then you get to this long staircase, and
Yeah.
you're like, "What?" I can't even see straight right now.
Exactly, that's the
Yeah,
worst place ever
yeah,
to have to climb, your way out of an attraction, like, everybody's
yes,
like, "Oh
yeah,
my god, I can't
yep,
I can't walk a straight." I mean, if they like, if
yeah,
the Orlando Orange County Sheriff was there giving, like, a drunk driver,
oh boy,
sobriety
yeah,
test, nobody would
they all
pass.
fail,
Like,
yeah,
not a person, nobody could walk a straight line. Yeah,
yeah,
that's they need to figure out a way to get people just straight out of that building. Yeah, so because
yeah.
people have fallen already. Yeah, it's a mess.
Well, it was, again, it was a great ride, smoothest ride I've ever been on,
Yep.
but it was just a
What
lot, a
song
lot
what
going
song
on.
did you get? Because I had
Oh,
September.
I was so like excited about it, and I just don't
Oh,
even,
no, you
I can't even
song. Oh,
remember.
man, that's the
I,
question. That's always the
I
question.
know. It's like when you first meet somebody, you get their name and it goes right out your head immediately. That's basically what
Oh,
happened.
that's too funny. Well, you gotta write
I
it.
enjoyed it. I'll tell you that much. I had a
That's
great
cool.
time with it. So,
Alright, alright.
um,
So you did it. Now, so let me ask you though, you enjoyed it. Is this something you would do again? And would you said your wife probably not. She
ooh,
don't think she
no,
would do it? No,
she will
no.
never do it. She asked me. She's not big on roller coasters, and the main thing that bothers her is like the big drops. So I that might not bother her because there's really not that many big
Yeah,
drops. It's more
no.
of the turning and going
There's a lot
around
of other
fast.
stuff that
But
probably
she's
would.
not. Yeah, I don't think she would enjoy that. So she probably won't go on it. I'll definitely go on it again. I honestly, I might like bring Dramamine next time and
Yeah,
try that.
that's
I
safe
don't
to say.
typically do it for any other ride, but like I did feel a little off after coming out of that, and I don't typically get like that. So I was,
Yeah, they were
maybe just
dragging a lady an older travel agent or media person that was on the train behind me.
yeah,
They had to go get a wheelchair, and she
oof,
was she was green when she got off, so
yeah,
and I was like, "Oh my god, that could
uh,
have been me." I was like, "Whew, I'm so glad I'm still vertical." But
yeah, I get,
and again, I have a sensitivity to that, like, with certain things, like,
yeah,
I've been on a, bajillion cruises, and I never get seasick on a cruise ship. I should knock on wood because 'cause I'll probably get seasick on our podcast cruise in July because it just never happens. Like, I don't get that, but it's like,
yeah,
the thing in Animal Kingdom that they just took out, Primeval Whirl,
yeah,
like, nothing messed me up like nobody's
yeah,
business. I could not because it was dipping and spinning, and that's kinda like what Cosmic Rewind is, even though it's better because you're air conditioned, it's smooth as silk, you got because it's just fun. You're distracted by
yeah,
all that stuff because you are laughing, like, it's a
yeah.
crazy
Once you
thing.
stop, though, it catches up to you. You
You're
go,
like,
"Ooh,
"Oh my god, I just went through
yeah,
a washing machine or something." Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Anyway,
yeah."
so after you did that though, continue with the day though, because it sounds like you had a good time.
So what did I do after that? I went into Connections and checked that out. I did get a coffee, and then, if I don't get a coffee during the day, I get crazy headaches. So I was like, I gotta get that out of the way. So I got that, and then I popped around to the food side just to check it out. I planned on getting something there. It was insane that day. It was just there was nowhere to sit. I was just, I just took a look at it, checked it out. I definitely want to go there. We're going down in September, so I'll definitely get there then. But I skipped it this time around. I walked out. I went over to Club Cool. Haven't been there since it reopened, so I checked that out. There was a couple, to the machine to the left of us. They were egging people on. Oh, you got to try this one. This is the best one,
Yeah,
And I was like,
find
what?
out
What do you
going.
think? Everybody was born yesterday? Like
Exactly. Yes, sir.
everybody's heard about this. I mean, there might be 1 in 10 that you get, but
That's not happening.
um, so I sampled some sodas, and then I went out to where did I go? I went out to France, and then we jumped on. Well, I jumped on a Ratatouille ride. So I had a lightning lane for that. So what was that? Yeah, 2 rides at that park, and then I checked out of there. And then my plan was to go to Animal Kingdom. So during all of this, I was able to get a lightning lane for Flight of Passage. So went over to Animal Kingdom, and I think I started with where did we start? I started with the safari. So I went over.
Because I would need. Here's the thing: Flight of Passage messes me up. Like
Okay.
it's the
Yeah.
glasses. I think Star
Mhm.
Tours gets me too. It's the simulator 3D kind of stuff that totally
Yeah.
gets me. And if I did Cosmic Rewind and then Flight of Passage, I mean, they'd be calling 911 to take me to Celebration or something. I'd be so screwed up.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you kind of separated out. And the
Yeah.
safari gives you a chance to kind of. I mean, you're really busy so far. You get to sit down, long ride, take it
Mhm.
all in, chill out. I mean, you just gotta chill out sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. It was good to break it up. And now that I remember, I'm forgetting. Hollywood Studios, I did do Star Tours too. I snuck on that because there was no wait whatsoever. I was like, all right, I'll go on it real quick. But anyway, back to Animal Kingdom. So I did the safari. Then I went over to Everest. I was hitting all these rides that, like, typically, when I have Michelle with me, like
Right.
we'll go on the rides that we like together, and that's it. So by myself, why not? So I went on that, and then I went on Flight of Passage. Um, Forgetting when I ate, but I went to Yak and Yeti, the cafe window, and got the fried rice. I feel like that
Oh,
is the most
that is
underrated thing.
you get a
Um,
ton of it, it's cheap, and it is so good. You are
yeah,
so
it fills you
I
up.
haven't
It's
had it in a
good.
couple of years, but that is one of the best deals going. The thing is, like, there's all that new counter service you got Flame Tree, you got Satuli Canteen, but Yak and Yeti, you're right, that fried rice at the
Oh yeah.
to-go window is solid. I need to get that again. I'm gonna have to get that.
Yeah, it's very underrated, and I feel like nobody really knows about it.
Oh,
And I've heard it on the podcast for years, and we did it. I think on the honeymoon trip, and we were like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" And then
that's good.
this trip, I was like, "That's I know where I'm going." I went there. It's either that or Satuli Canteen. I feel like have been our go-tos. Flame Tree, I still got to get to. I don't know how I haven't checked that one off my
Oh,
list.
it's solid too. The smell, it just draws you in, like, it's
Yeah, yeah.
oof. Yep.
Um, so yeah, I think I might have ate that before the Flight of Passage. So went over, did Flight of Passage. It was odd, the one thing about that. So I had the lightning lane, walked all the way up, right, and it got to the point where I was, next to go up, and they're like, "Oh, you're one. Oh, we need like 6, and then we need this," and then they would leave one out of like the room they were going in, and then start a new one. And they're like, "All right, 4. How many you got?" And they're pointing around me. I'm like, "What is going on? What? Just throw
Visible.
me in there."
Hey, hey.
Yeah, just throw me in. Like, and then they finally put me in at the end of that one. I just thought it was very strange the way they were,
There's
jumping
probably
around. But
probably a Yankees fan. You probably had your Mets hat on.
I did have my Mets hat on,
They're
so
messing
it
with you, man.
might have been.
It's like if a Cubs fan was working and I was, in line. I just get
Uh,
mixed. You gotta be
Wouldn't be
careful.
surprised. I didn't look at the name tags, but
That's
it
right.
could have
You
been.
got to be careful. Yeah, exactly.
Um, Probably Phillies fans.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah. They boo Santa
anyway,
Claus.
yeah. Never thought about it that way, but yeah. So finally made it on the ride, and I love that one. That's one of our favorites. So was happy to get on that, and then the plan was to close it out at Magic Kingdom. So popped over to Magic Kingdom. I did a few rides over there, Pirates, Haunted Mansion, forgetting what else I did. I think I got 3 rides that while I was there. And then I was looking for something to eat, couldn't decide on anything. I kept looking in the app to mobile order something, could not decide for the life of me. I was like so drained and just starving, that I just couldn't make a decision. So I ended up walking out of the park, and I walked towards the buses, and I said, "All right, whatever bus, is pulling up, like, or is there, I'm just gonna jump on and go." And I ended up at Port Orleans Riverside. It was about to
that's
leave. I
that's
jumped
totally
on.
random. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. So I jumped on, and I went. Yeehaw Bob was playing as I walked through the lobby, and then I ended up at their food court, and I just like took a look around. I found a French dip sandwich, grabbed that, and I went and sat and ate that. So I was happy with it. You know, you can't really go wrong with a food court at the end of a long day.
You know what though? I just jump in here because that reminds me of pre-theme park reservation days, say 5, 10 years ago when I mean, for folks that have been going to Walt Disney World for quite a while, I mean, we had this because we used to go down for like a week at a time, 10 days at a time sometimes because we'd have annual passes and my wife and I were both teachers. So we were off the entire summer. So we had the luxury with the girls to go down for longer trips. We just do one long summer trip. And so in the middle of the trip, again, you didn't have theme park reservations. So we kind of have an idea. We want to go Magic Kingdom on the first day. We want to do Epcot on the second day. But by, day 5 or 6, we didn't really care, where we went. So in the
Yeah,
mornings, there were mornings where we'd just be like, okay, whatever
see
bus
a
comes,
bus.
we're just going to that park, and then we'll park hop, whenever we feel like it after that. And that was almost like, I love that idea because I've never even considered that. That was like the reverse. That like, okay,
Yeah,
it's the end of the day, kind of hungry, and being solo, really lends itself to that because the only issue you're going to have at that point though is kind of you're going to have to get back from that place to your hotel. Even if you're on site, it's going to be hard to
yeah,
get say, from like a Riverside to a Contemporary. Well, not the Contemporary because you go to the Magic Kingdom, but like a Riverside to like a Coronado or something. You
yeah,
probably Uber. I mean, that'd be an Uber situation or a Lyft or something. But
yeah,
I like that because that gives you an opportunity to see another resort. You had entertainment in Yeehaw Bob, and like you said, those food courts are great, especially at like
yeah.
Riverside, French Quarter, Pop Century, Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach, Coronado. Yeah, I know
I
I'm
lucked
totally
out.
because I got a lot of solo trips coming up with the races soon, and I'm going to
It
totally
was
nail that one night.
it was great. And you know what? Like I was staying off site for this one, so I was in the Hilton Garden Inn. So in my head, I knew I had to take an Uber. And do I want to go back to the
Right.
TTC and take an Uber, or do I want to
That's
just go to a
easier for
resort and
tourists.
get picked up
Yeah,
there? You know, I can get food and kill two birds with one stone.
that's a
So
great idea.
it worked out.
I love this show. That is awesome. That is such a hack.
Yeah, it worked out. It worked out. I don't know that my wife would have gone along with it at the end of a long day. Just like,
Right.
oh, we're gonna go wherever we go. But it was fun to change it up. So enjoyed it. Definitely enjoyed it. So that was obviously a long day, late day. I went back. And I think as soon as I hit the pillow, I was out.
Yeah. See.
The next day, I had a flight that night. So I think I had to leave around 4 in order to go to the airport. So I booked Magic Kingdom, and I just figured I'd go there now. Um, I've never used the lockers before. So I was like researching all that beforehand. And, the bag that I got was bigger than a backpack, but smaller than a luggage. So I wasn't sure what size to get and that kind of thing. So um, I got there. There wasn't that many people using these lockers. Like I don't know that a lot of people do tend to use them, but it was
I've
perfect for
never
me.
used one in my life. I
I've
mean, I've seen them, but
never
I've never
even
used
I
one.
didn't know where to go, to be honest with you. I thought you had to walk through like where the strollers are, over to that
Yeah.
left side, but it's really to the right before you go in. So yeah, I went in, rented one. I think it was like $12 and threw the bag in there, and I had my regular, park backpack, and I just popped into the park. So I spent time just hitting things that I wasn't able to go on, and things I don't typically do while I'm there. So like the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse, I walked up that for a little bit, hung out, took some pictures. Um, I hit Pirates again. I hit Splash Mountain again. I hit that the night before, but I did it again. Um, Popped around. I think I did Space Mountain too. I was kind of all over the park. Just what looked reasonable, I kind of took it. And then of course, I did Carousel Progress. I think I did Presidents because nobody will go on that with me when I go
I'm the
typically.
same
So
way.
by
My
myself.
solo trips, I do it because my
Uh,
wife's eh.
yeah, yeah. I mean, so we have a family trip coming up, so my dad will be with me. So I'm sure he'll go sit with me for and sit through that. But anyway, I took the opportunity to go on it. Um, yeah, and then I got cheesesteak egg rolls. I was debating between that and not cheesesteak egg rolls, cheeseburger,
I've
spring
still
rolls.
never had
Spring rolls.
anything off that cart. I
They got that and a Reuben one. I'm not a Reuben guy, but
I
yeah,
gotta
I get them like once a trip. I enjoy them. But
have
I got I also tried the cream cheese pretzel too for
Now
the first
that
time. I
was
never had that.
oh,
That was very good.
yes.
I had that. It was pouring. I was sitting under the overhang just eating the pretzel, and I think I went into Carousel Progress after that one. So, oh, I did the TTA. So that was good. Had a good day, but the previous day got to me. So
Right.
pretty early in the afternoon, I faded, and I was like, you know what? Why don't I just go on the monorail and go sit at one of the resorts and like hang out? So, one of the Instagram accounts I follow posted about a new drink Tambu Lounge had, and the souvenir mugs that come with it.
Yep.
Um, they're big collector's items, and this had just gotten announced. So it's like, all right, I'll go check it out. So I went over. Um, I walked up, and I've never had an experience like that. There was nowhere really to sit. I ordered the drink, and the girl came, with the box of the souvenir mug and the drink separately. And she's like, congratulations. I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, oh, it's a first edition, and apparently, that's a thing. So I was excited about it. It's a cool little mug. It's got like surfboards on it and stuff. But I
Yeah,
was
see,
just
I'm
like
not a
surprised
collector
that.
either. Like I don't know. Like I mean,
Yes.
I have some. I have popcorn buckets, and we
That's
went to the
that's yeah.
electrical parade. I have like a little light bulb
Disney.
I got at Disneyland. But I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's first, 10th, or whatever. It was just something to remember the light parade for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just,
it's cool.
thank you, but whatever.
Exactly. It's all right. Yeah, okay.
But that's how I got the Lion King bucket too, because I was like, you know what, with how the Figment bucket went, I don't know, maybe that's a big thing. And then
Yeah,
I see them everywhere, and I was just like, well, all right, well, I guess
that's
it isn't that big, but whatever.
no,
It was
that's how I
cool.
am now, because now it's like you get FOMO. Like if any popcorn market
Yeah,
is
just
not like,
grab it.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh, this is going to be the next big thing. I better get
yeah,
it. It's just a Christmas ornament, Mike. No, but it could be the one. No,
yeah. That's
that's
how I
all.
was. So that's why that's there. I don't know, but anyway, yeah, that was pretty cool. And the drink was good. It was pog juice and rum in it, so can't complain.
You
So I
know,
hung out. I got a seat. People left. I got a seat by the window, and I just kind of people watched until I had to go to the airport. I did walk through the resort again because they got stuff going on now that that Aloha Spirit of Aloha is kind of getting demolished and stuff. So I just checked stuff out, and then I called an Uber and off to the airport I went. So it was short, it was quick. I was exhausted by the end of it, but it was definitely a great trip. I had a lot of fun.
man, that's fun. I've never done 4 parks in one day, other than the one time a year during Marathon Sunday when I go through all the parks. That's it, and that's insane anyway. Because I just know I get tired, man. I just like you. I mean, it sounded exhausting doing it. So I don't know if I probably will at some point, because I'll get dragged in by Scott or somebody. Will be like, let's try it. And I'll be like, just to be, a friend, I will. But I don't know if I would do this on my own, choice, because
Yeah.
it just sounds exhausting. So let me ask you this as we wrap this up. Now that you've done this, is there anything that you learned? Like, would you switch the order of the parks, or would you do something different with transportation, or as far as maybe attractions, dining? Like, was there something that when you were like on the plane, you're exhausted, you're flying back, you're like, man, if I could do this again, if I'm either dumb enough to do this again, or if I just have the energy to do this again someday, this is what I would do to make this a better or more enjoyable experience.
I probably would have made myself a dining reservation,
Sit down.
because that would have been nice. Just sit down for a little bit and,
Yeah.
and take a break for dinner. The rest of the stuff I was cool with running around, but by that, it was cool that I ended up at Port Orleans and was able to check out, food court. But I would have rather had something planned ahead of time. And I think I waited too long. Like there was dining reservations available. I was just like, again, I couldn't think by that point. I was like,
Right.
oh, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that, and it never happened. As far as the order of the parks, I think that worked out perfectly because I just think Hollywood Studios is a great morning park to go to and knock out a few rides if you rope drop. And then obviously Epcot had to be the second park.
Mhm.
And then Animal Kingdom with it closing earlier than Magic Kingdom,
Right.
Magic Kingdom being later, it just naturally went that way. And then obviously if I could have been on property, that would have been a nice advantage too, to not have to go, jump in an Uber and go back to my hotel. But yeah, I guess the main thing would be getting a dining reservation on the books. That would have been
Good
really
tip.
good for me.
Good tip. Wait, so what's up next for you guys? What do you have on the books? Anything?
So my wife just got back yesterday. Actually, she was down for a convention. She's a hairstylist, so they had an award show, and she was nominated for it. So she went down with a bunch of her friends. Um, but her being the Disney person she is, and having the annual pass, she was at Disney every day.
Nice.
So she sucked a few people into it and got them interested in running around, and she did a couple of solo days, hit Disney Springs, uh, went to Homecoming. So she had a very eventful, successful trip. But she just got back. I was super jealous of that. But we are going down the 17th through the 24th. We're actually talking about going down the 16th, a day earlier than the rest of my family, and doing Halloween uh, Horror Nights over at Universal.
Yep.
We did it last year, had a great time. So we're thinking about doing that. But then the rest of my family, so my mom, my dad, my brother, his wife, the kids, and then actually her father and his girlfriend are coming down. My cousin's even coming down. He lives over in New Smyrna Beach in Florida. Is not a theme park guy, and we suckered him into coming for a couple of days. So it's a big group. That's going to be an interesting one because I haven't had to deal with that. It's always been me and Michelle, and two people getting reservations, getting, uh, you know, getting lightning lanes very easy. This is going to be a new thing for me. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited. I mean, they haven't been. This has been on my mom's list for a few years to just do a solid week at the parks and kind of take a couple pool days and just absorb it. We got I got two young nephews. My niece, is 14, so she's not as in love with as she once was, but
Yeah, I get it.
excited to go with them all.
I have a 15-year-old. I get it. Yeah. I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but nonetheless, still excited. They haven't been in a little bit of time, so there's a lot of changes, a lot of new rides. So I'm excited for them to see everything and just get back down there.
But I will say though, with what I know from you and how you guys are so laid back and you like to take it easy, enjoy the resorts, enjoy the pools, enjoy just being in the atmosphere of Walt Disney World has to offer. I think this kind of a trip it'll be really interesting for you because I don't think you're going to stress out about the small minute details with you mentioned like getting lightning lanes for larger groups, which it can be a challenge, but I think you're just going to enjoy going around the parks and doing things like the TTA, the Carousel of Progress. And when you get those bigger attractions, which you will, it'll be cool to see, like you said, your nieces, your nephews, your parents and cousins and everybody, because you're going to get to see them have those experiences. I can tell just by, we've talked a few times that's going to get you, you're going to feel good about that.
Yeah,
As Disney
100%.
fans, we like to see those trips. We like to see others in our family and our other friends get to have those experiences that we love so much at a place like Walt
Mhm.
Disney World. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's the cool part now is just living through their eyes. We've seen it quite a bit, so should be interesting. Should be a good time. Plus, we're staying at the Riviera. And that's our home
Oh,
resort, but it's the
yes.
second time we've stayed there. So we're like so excited to get back there. We love that resort, and obviously the Skyliner being right there, and Epcot and Hollywood Studios can't beat it. And Primo Piatto, I gotta
Yeah, I
get
was gonna say
a
it's I was just
croque,
gonna tell you,
croque madame or madame,
yeah,
whatever.
you just stole it. As I
Uh,
was in the show, I was gonna say,
so
okay, as
good.
we wrap the show, you got to promise me you'll have one of those croque madames for me for breakfast.
It's on the list. It's on
Okay,
the
there
list.
you go, because that's my baby, man. Okay, there was one trip I had that thing 3 mornings in a row, and then on the fourth
Yeah.
morning, because I was staying at Caribbean Beach, I was like, I can't go over there and have a fourth in a row, man. I'll be dead. Like,
Yeah.
and every morning I ran
See,
10 miles before I went and got it. I'm like, why am I running 10 miles? I should be running 20 because that thing's probably like, what am I doing
that's
to myself? Yeah, it's
I don't
crazy.
know how you did that. I did the one and I was like, wow, that's amazing, but I was stuffed afterwards.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have
But
lunch.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've got Sebastian's on the list of restaurant. We got really good restaurants for that trip too. I was kind of shocked. We got Hoop-Dee Doo, we got Sebastian's, we got the Mexico Pavilion. We've got Homecoming. We've got Olivia's. We've got
Oh, you are killing me. You got my all-stars. It's like an all-star list.
yeah, and then we got not Kona,
Ohana.
Ohana.
Oh,
Last night, we're there. So
you better bring some stretchy pants for this trip.
yeah.
That's a lot of good food.
Yeah, no, it should be interesting. I mean, we might end up, canceling one or two of the reservations just to and do quick start. We're gonna have Primo Piatto right there, so I find it hard to believe like they're staying at Caribbean Beach, but they're gonna walk over. Obviously, I find it hard to believe we won't make it there for something.
No. I mean, I was staying at Caribbean Beach, and Primo Piatto was my food court. I mean, that was it. Like, I mean, because I was saying,
I figured.
Yeah, and I was just like, whoop. I mean, I never went to the Caribbean Beach dining area. I was always like, whoop, right over to Riviera, Primo Piatto every time. Especially with mobile order, because you just mobile order it. By the time you get there, boom, they call your name and you're there. Oh man,
that's been one of the best things to come from COVID is the whole acceleration of mobile ordering.
Absolutely.
Can't beat it.
All right, wait, hey, thanks for jumping on here and sharing this trip with us. It's been a lot of fun. I love talking with other Disney fans, and we have a lot in common. I hope to see your team in October. We'll be at City. You guys can come to Busch, and we'll duke it out in the playoffs. So good luck to the Mets, and
it'll be great.
I appreciate you jumping in and kind of helping me out here with a last-minute cancellation. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mike. Appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
All right, we sure will. All right, don't forget today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check out themagicforless.com for all your Disney trip planning needs. They're standing by right now, the great agents over at the Magic for Less, to help you plan a wonderful Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney getaway. The agents over at the Magic for Less are professional, passionate travel agents. They're going to help you just have an awesome trip for the lowest cost possible. So one more time, swing by the site, look at all the trip planning tools, look at all the great resort guides and itineraries for the cruise lines, all the onboard credits you're going to get when you book with the Magic for Less, all the great reasons to book with them. And then while you're there, fill out that free, no obligation quote form. Again, over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. That one extra click really does help us out. And a huge thank you to the patrons of the Be Our Guest podcast. You guys make all this podcasting possible. And our patrons get that bonus show called Mike in the Midwest every week. So come on over. We'd love to have you join us. Patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Give me a follow on the social media. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike on Instagram and Twitter, and I'd love to talk to you this week. So come on over. And of course, follow the show on Facebook and YouTube to search for the Be Our Guest Podcast. And we'll be live taking your calls this Sunday night. You, me, and Scotty G, Facebook and YouTube. Join us at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, and give us a call. We're going to talk Disney, and you can be a part of the show right then, right there. Again, this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. Join us on YouTube and Facebook. All right, we're going to get out of here and let you get on with your Monday, but we'll be back again on Wednesday with more of your listener questions. So for Chris, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Monday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Arenado just hit a home run, I think, right in the middle of that close. I just saw it on Twitter.
Mets are up 4-0, 3 home runs. Take it.
That works. We're playing Colorado. It seems like we've been playing Colorado forever because we just went to Colorado. Now they're here. I hate that. They should spread that out.
Yeah, we've got a lot at the end of like the Nationals. I mean, we're seeing the Phillies and the Braves 2 weeks back to back. Then we got the Yankees. We got the Nationals. I think we got the Phillies again too. It's kind of a hodgepodge, but hopefully we're strong down the stretch. This guy we just brought up homer tonight, so 1 for 1 on his career.
I like that. That's good stuff. Hey, well, I appreciate you jumping in, and seriously,
absolutely.
Good luck to the Mets, and maybe we'll have a little rivalry in October.
Hey, I'd welcome it. I like the Cards. I can't argue with that.
Hey, 86 was fun. Let's do it again.
Yeah, right. There you go.
All right, take care, Chris.
All right, Mike.
I appreciate you.
Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye bye.